Cheers. Here is
Cheers.
the beginning of the podcast. Are you ready? I'm actually
Yes.
quite scared. Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Taste. I'm your host, Kelly Kim. Every week, I give you a taste of the on-chain future via a series of yummy conversations with seriously on-chain builders. On today's pod, we have LIMONE.ETH, the new internet's favorite citrus fruit. We talk about the origin of his persona as a lemon, the importance of community building in Web3, and lastly, he shares his experience building ETHRome. He then goes on to share some juicy secrets behind his multiple hackathon wins, including the ideal sleeping and planning schedule. Lastly, we chat social protocols and which one Limone is most excited about. Hope you enjoy.
Buongiorno. Buongiorno, Limone. How are you? Thank you so much for coming on today.
Buongiorno, Kelly. I'm doing great, and thank you again for inviting me here. Really excited for this conversation.
No, I've been a big fan of your work, your brand for a long time. So I'm actually really pumped that you're here, and I'm excited to dive in a little bit more into what makes you excited, what you're building, and why on earth it's Limone.eth out of everything. So yeah, I mean, first of all, let's start with, I've always been curious, your brand is revolved around lemons, and there's this phrase like, when life gives you lemons, everyone has a different answer. As a lemon yourself, how would you finish the sentence?
Of course, a lot of people asked me about this, and I tweeted about it, I casted about it, and my always go-to answer is when life gives you lemons, please don't squeeze them, because I'm a lemon myself, so.
Okay, that's a cue for anyone listening. If you see Limone in real life, make sure you give him a hug and squeeze the hell out of him. On that topic, I know that you say don't squeeze them, but can you bite into one? That's the question.
I don't do that often, but since we're here today, I think it's a special occasion to do it. So if we want to a bite of lemon, I'm up for it totally.
Okay, well, when life gives you lemons, Limone, cheers. Here
Cheers.
is the beginning of the podcast. Are you ready? I'm actually
Yes.
quite scared. Okay.
3, 2, 1. Mm.
Holy shit.
Oh my God. That's why I
Yeah.
don't do it that often.
Now I need the tequila shot or the salt.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know about you, but I'm gonna just maybe have some water with that. But I'm totally ready. I'm totally ready. That's why lemons exist, right? To wake you up.
We're ready now.
I mean, that was
Let's
actually,
go.
the aftertaste is quite yum. I feel detoxed, like I feel clean,
Yeah, now I feel better,
and
polished.
healthy. Exactly. So tell us why Limone? Where did this come from? And what does it mean for you now versus when you first took up this persona as a lemon?
So it's a story that brings me back in my childhood, because when I was young, at least younger, not that I'm old now, but my friends used to call me Simone Limone. So my real name is actually Simone, and it rhymes with limone. So they used to, for some random reasons, I don't really know, but they used to call me Simone Limone. And since it was becoming more and more common, I started using this nickname when playing on video games online. Then I was DJing during high school, and my nickname was Limone.
Wow.
So when it came to Web3, and I noticed this big thing with profile pictures, Web3 digital identities, I said, okay, I don't need a nickname. I know already what's my nickname. And just for fun, I can start building something around it, but not actually planning anything in particular, but just having fun, creating my own character, and that's it. Here we go, Limone, all the way.
Yeah. Did you ever make a
You
lemonade
know,
stand? Or
you know
oh
that I also have a
wow,
tattoo.
that's super cute.
This was last October, so just to this is how evolved. So it started just as a nickname, but now it's much more than that, because a lot of friends and like know me first as Limone and Lemon and Lemonade, different like variants, let's say. And last October I had to get a tattoo because it's so like part of me, this identity that I love to say I am my lemon and my lemon is me.
Oh, that's actually really, really cute. And I feel like a lemon, for some reason, at least your PFP, I might put it up on the screen here, but it's animated enough to, it feels like a children's book or like a children's cartoon. You could literally make one out of that.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's really fun. So when I was looking for a profile pictures, of course, I was looking for an NFT collection, and there were like only two of them around lemons and citrus in general. And there was this one called Little Lemon Friends, and as soon as I saw it, I knew that I need some of like these lemons. So I picked my first one, and then I think I collected 18 of them. I don't know. And
Wow.
right now I'm not in my place, but in my home office, in my background, when I get like calls, I have like all the pictures of these lemons printed on my wall. Yeah,
Wow, love it. And you're in Lisbon, right? But your home is in Rome.
in Rome. Yeah, exactly.
Got
But
it.
I like Lisbon a lot, so some from time to time I come here as well.
Okay, just for fun, or you're like you just wake
Yeah,
up one day and you're like, I'm gonna go to Lisbon.
no, no, no. Of course, like I have friends here, and Lisbon is a great place for like Web3 people in general. So I made a lot of friends along the year that I know that live here. Been
Mhm.
collaborating with some of them in the past, so it's always good to be back and enjoy some good weather, the sea, seafood, and everything that comes with it.
Yeah, I love Lisbon, especially the pastel de nata. Ugh,
Oh yeah,
heaven, heaven,
yeah.
heaven. Although Lisbon always gives me like bigger carbs. Like I leave, anyone knows when I've been to Lisbon because my carbs become like 1.5x the size they are. And then like 1 week later after I leave, they shrink again, but it's great.
Yeah, I mean it's Lisbon. you,
It's
you need to get a
Lisbon.
good and bad.
Cool. I mean, I want to touch a little bit on your background. I know that you're a lot of things. Like I see you building and shipping something almost every week, every month. You're an engineer. I also know that you've grown quite the community with urbe.eth in Italy, Rome, and
Yes.
you also organize ETHRome. What don't you do?
I don't like drawing, let's say, or painting. I don't know.
Okay, so not much.
I yeah, like I mean maybe there's a ton of things that I don't like to do, but this was the first thing that came to my mind. I'm not that much into art per se, let's say, even if I enjoy colors and creativity in general, you know.
Really? Okay, interesting. Because I like your persona and how it's very well designed, and you can't have that without having the vision yourself and like a touch for art. What are some things that actually, let's go back to how this all started. How did you come into the space from a back-end engineer background, and how do you think your journey has evolved? What's been the most like exciting highlights for you?
So, as you mentioned, like my background is in computer science engineering, and I've been always working as a like before Web3. I mean, as a backend engineer in startups and fast-paced environments. So I never wanted to join, like these big corporates where you feel like a small piece in a bigger, puzzle, let's say. I always wanted to move with a small and fast team, hopefully, and where you can learn a lot of stuff. You can wear multiple hats. So this is my background before Web3. And at some point when I was working for this Italian fintech startup, I of course I knew about blockchain already because I studied it in university, but I wasn't really into it. Up to the point in which I came across Axie Infinity, which is
Mm.
a Web3 game. It was 2 years ago, like 2 years and a half ago at this point. So I'm not that old in Web3, I think. But 2 years are already a lot in this ecosystem.
Yes.
And Axie Infinity caught my attention not because of the game, because it's a card game, which is also fun actually. I discovered that later, but I was interested into it because I knew that it was blockchain based, and I knew how bad was the UX for this kind of products and games and whatever. So like onboarding on Axie Infinity was incredibly hard. You had to spend like $900 when I joined because you needed to buy 3 Axies, so like big price to entry. And then you needed to know how to use a wallet, how to open one if you didn't have one. You need to know what's MetaMask. And also there was another layer of difficulty because Axie was running on Ronin, like an Ethereum sidechain. And so you also needed to bridge some stuff on Ronin. So like incredibly difficult to start playing this game. But regardless of that, they were having some crazy growth numbers. And so when I read about it, I felt like I was missing something. There were like some new, I don't know, like business model or economics behind it that I wanted to know. So I started reading and studying about the game, and from there, I get to know better NFTs, transactions, wallets, and all this kind of stuff. I started building some tools on top of Axie Infinity, and that was also cool as a developer because I felt the power of Web3, where everything is open. You can spin up a node, synchronize the data, and run whatever data engineering, query, product stuff that you want. And so got like really into it and started reading about other stuff in Web3 around, I don't know, like the basics, like DeFi, DAOs. Like in the beginning, you don't know what to pick, what you like, what you not. And so I spent some time figuring it out. And 2 years later, I feel like I know what's my focus, what's my niche in Web3 at least.
Awesome. So you basically had to deal with all the like shitty parts and pain points yourself, and you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna do something about it because I can. And that's the beauty of,
Yeah,
I guess, being in this space. Also being a capable engineer who knows what good UX looks like and being able to build really fast. Um,
yeah.
yeah, interesting. Okay. And what is that niche right now for you? If someone was like came up to you and said, "Hi, who are you?" Like, what would you say
Yeah,
to this
yeah.
person?
So I think my niche started. So my first professional experience in Web3 was 4 months later, Axie Infinity, because at some point I wanted to like do this like 24 hours. I wanted to be there like studying and reading and making it useful for my like full-time job, let's say. And I started working with this startup called Backdrop. It's a US-based startup, and they are now running like a build program to help hackers and builders out there creating their ideas, getting funds and support they need. And but before that, when I joined them, they were really active in the DAOs and tokenized community space. So as soon as I joined them, but I already knew about it, that like the reason why I decided to join Backdrop, because I wanted to see like how like Web3 and tokens and these kind of incentives can empower communities. And so
Yeah.
from that moment on, thanks also to Backdrop and all the connections that this job and like building this product with them, of course it helped me like immersing myself into this niche, like the social, at the time was like the social tokens niche. So people launching social tokens, community experimenting with and DAOs experimenting with governance and different types of incentives and game theory. But from there, at some point, I stopped working with Backdrop last July, so it was 1 year and a half, and we were leaning towards more of like a social network vibe of things, professional network actually. So we wanted to help people connect with each other, support each other, and having the Web3 building blocks at the core of these products, much like Farcaster is today for social networks. We were trying to build something specifically for professional connections, and I had the chance to study a lot of different protocols that were trying to do similar things,
Hmm.
Farcaster, Lens, Blue Sky, all this stuff, and I got really interested in the social networking space in Web3, and that's why I'm like so much into Farcaster now, I guess, and
Yeah.
everything related to it, because first of all, like thanks also to like you mentioned my community experience. I as an engineer, I've been like traveling and connecting with a lot of people, so I like talking to people, and social network is all about that, you know. And then as an engineer, when you get like all these powerful primitives that you can use to create new products on on top of like this, like such cool data and network and social graph, it's priceless. Because like my something that I used to say a lot is that I feel like when I'm building something Web3, I feel like I'm in Minecraft creative mode. I used to play Minecraft a lot in the past, and I enjoyed a lot like building whatever I wanted. Like, you know, there's this world, you have like all the different blocks, stairs, even like programmable things, and you can do whatever you want. And in Web3, it's pretty much the same feeling and excitement, you know. And
Right.
and so getting back to the question, I think my niche now is around like social, decentralized socials, definitely, and consumer product more in general. I'm trying to focus on like creating consumer product experiences that can bring this technology, this awesome technology to um, like talking about mainstream. Maybe it's we're still like far away, but at least like we are trying to get there.
For sure. To go back to your point, like that comparison to Minecraft is spot on. It's basically, you know, like this whole concept of world building. I feel like the next society, like the next development of society is going to be digital. You know, protocols like Farcaster or Lens Network are going to be the rails on which these experiences and connections are built atop of. So, yeah, I mean, I'm totally with you. You're the two niches, you know, like consumer crypto experiences plus on-chain social. I love these. Like,
Yeah.
I love what is possible with them, and for sure, like if you have that intersection of building like community and talking to people, bringing people together, plus that curiosity and knowledge about technology. I know exactly like every day you wake up it's like what is possible? Like what can I do with this today? Super super exciting. I want to ask a little bit about, you know, throughout that journey you've also like launched different communities, right? There's Herb and then there's the experience that you had building ETHRome. What was that like? And, you know, how, why didn't you go that route? If you're, you know, you're very good at community building, but what's the difference between creating IRL experiences for a living versus trying to build, you know, the institutions on which people can connect on the digital realm?
Yeah, that's very good question, because I'm still like fighting with myself, understanding how to better allocate my time with all this different stuff. But
Right.
like the community started 2 years ago, was May 2022, and it started because in Rome we didn't have any Web3 community. It was my like first month working Web3, so I started with Backdrop in April, and at the end of April I was in my first Italian Web3 event in Milan, and I met two guys from Rome, and we said to each other, yeah, let's just connect, and then when we are back to Rome, maybe we can hang out sometime, have a beer, chat about Web3 ideas, articles, everything. And so
Yeah.
it started really as a personal need to connect, because you know you're working in this ecosystem which is really digital, and it's cool because you can work and have conversation like this one, even if I'm in Lisbon, you're in Buenos Aires right now, but sometimes it's always I like a lot connecting in real life, you know. It's there where the magic happens, and I think it's cool that with this, you know, ecosystem, you get to know people first online, and then you met in real life at events or other places around the world, and it's like always an amazing moment. But that said, again, was a personal need just to grow in the space. If you surround yourself with the right people, you can learn a lot. And so I wanted to be around people with my same interests, passions, ideas, so that they can contaminate me and I can learn something from them, and hopefully I can have like them learning something from me as well. So it started like this, and it scaled like crazy, because we started doing from simple informal meetups with just drinks and food, where we networking events. We had like these monthly meetups running. Now it's been the 19th edition. That was last month. So in June we will have our 20th edition.
Wow.
We started traveling together to Web3 conferences and hackathons. We participated together in hackathons. So like learning a lot together. And I feel like so grateful for this like journey, because I'm sure that without the whole community, it would have been like much more difficult, because you are alone at your place and you can't talk about and you can't talk about this with anybody, because in Rome especially, it's not that much an innovation prone city, it's and
Right.
that's all over Italy in general. And so we needed to create this bubble for us to grow and sustain each other. And ETHRome was something amazing, because it's the result of like 1 year of having a community working and volunteer, like offering their skills, insight, experiences from different industries to craft the first Web3 hackathon in our country. And it was like an amazing experience, because I again, like my background is in tech, so I don't know anything about event organization,
Yeah.
and I feel like now I know something, of course, because we did a lot of it. But when we started ETHRome, it was a crazy idea. Like, how can we even possibly think about this? And actually, the idea came to us when we were in Lisbon during our first trip together, because we wanted to bring back in our city the same vibes and energy that we saw in ETH Lisbon 2022 and all the other hackathons that we visited.
Yeah.
And it was incredible to see this group of people, which is now working still on the next edition of ETHRome. But last year was incredible, because we didn't know how to do it. We had to find ways to collaborate. We didn't know each other so well. While now we are, of course, like a big group of friends who hang out even on a random Thursday night, let's say. And was a long and difficult year. Weekly Monday call. Everybody like working, I don't know, somebody working on sponsorship, somebody working on design, somebody figuring out the logistics and the venue details, the hackathon rules. So like 20-25 people working together without any incentive. Like I was talking in the beginning about tokenized communities, and we tried
Yeah.
experimenting with some of that in the past, but it wasn't like really changing anything. And indeed, that ETHRome was just like a volunteer effort. There was like no economic incentive for anyone in the game, and it was an incredible success. Like so incredible that I now have a tattoo on my leg, because it's like I'm so proud of that, because I always felt somehow constrained in Rome, in like with the people there, and the general like entrepreneurial culture of Italy. And I was so happy to bring this opportunity to some like people that live in Rome, that are like us and like experimenting and innovating society,
Yeah.
So like so proud to have been able to work on this directly and bringing everything that I always wanted in Rome myself. And like with the help of the community, of course, because otherwise it would have been impossible.
Yeah. I love that. That's super inspiring. Like if you can't find what you want in your city, you have to be the one to
That's
pioneer and bring it, right?
that's the
Were there
motto.
things that about this whole, you've never hosted a large scale event like this, when did anything surprise you? Was it harder than you thought, or were there things that, you were like, oh, this is actually quite easy. Like, what?
No, it's a lot of stress, a lot of
Okay.
stress. Especially because like it's a long-term effort. And again, like nobody last year was getting like paid out of this work, and we worked a lot. Of course, like somebody more, somebody less, but overall, like it was like a huge effort and difficult to reproduce. So it's stressful because you need to um, do a lot of different things. You need to learn a lot of soft skills that you might not have, that you might don't know.
Yeah.
Even thinking about newsletters, so like sending notifications and announcements, planning social media. So there's like a lot of stuff that you need to put in the mix to create a great event that is like that's always something up to your mind that you have to do. And the first thing, of course, since we are on last year we organized it with a non-profit association that we have currently, and so even on the funding side it's always like difficult because you need to convince companies about your values, your missions, your goals, and convincing them in coming in Rome, which is not like Lisbon, is not Berlin, is not Amsterdam. I don't know. There's not like this big community unless of us. But in the end, it worked. Somehow we
Did it.
we did it, and we spent a lot of energy because like probably like most of like my energy at least was going towards like traveling. I've been in probably like 15, 18 events. I lost the count at this point, like all the major Ethereum hackathons, and always hacking, of course, which is
Yeah.
which is tiring. But while you hacking, you also get the chance to meet some cool projects that you can, involve in the community and everything that you are building there, because they see you building, and then they know that you are a real one. So
Exactly.
that was our best marketing effort, let's say. So we didn't spend on any social advertisement. We just printed some flyers, some posters, and then we presented ourselves at all the major hackathons as a big group of like 8, 10 people, and people started noticing us. So now at hackathons, like they know us because at this point, like we've won like many of them, and we're always around this type of experiences.
Right.
And this was a fun experience because you get to see the world, but also like exhausting because you travel a lot, you need to talk a lot with people,
And you have to hack.
and
You
you
have to
also have
hack
to
good.
hack. You have to hack, and then you get back to work, and then start something again. But I can't complain because I loved doing this. But just mentioning to people out there that might listen to this conversation and think about organizing the event, just like do it, but don't think that it will be like easy. You need to put like a lot of energy, and for us maybe it was easier because we already had a big community behind
Yeah.
supporting the whole thing, actively supporting. So usually when you go to these events, the core team is around 4 or 5 people, and then you have volunteers helping in place, like with, I don't know, like moving stuff around, check-in and stuff. While at our event, we were like all volunteers, but these volunteers weren't only working during the 3 days of the event; they worked a year long. So
Damn.
that it's a huge effort, but
That's
priceless, because then like the passion that we had in bringing it to life um, helped us a lot. Not easy to reproduce, but I know that people, I know for a fact that people saw how much heart we put into it.
I love that. I mean, Italians are always known for their passion, and it is hard to reproduce. I don't think I've ever heard of a conference team using going to all the possible hackathons and winning them as a go-to-market as their core marketing strategies. That sounds, on one hand, super, super fun and rewarding and very hacker native. At the same time, you know, if for anyone building their own hackathon or a team, look at your resources in your team. Is that viable? If so, why not?
Yeah, I mean, like for us, when we started doing it, we we weren't even thinking of this as a marketing effort. So
I love
we
that.
just wanted to travel and hack together to learn and meet people. But
Yeah.
then, like a year later, I can tell you that that was our best marketing effort because I know it worked because when the builders are very appreciated in the ecosystem, of course.
Hmm.
And so people love when you're up to all like this stuff. And if you're organizing an hackathon, like our claim indeed, like this year is the hackathon for builders by builders because we are builders ourselves, so we know how to treat hackers
Yeah.
coming to Rome.
And no one is gonna be like, hey, like that is such a like you're lying. You're literally like you're the Italian mafia of building. And so
Yeah,
they know you're not bullshitting. Like you've won, I think, more than 10 hackathons, right?
yeah,
Or
yeah, yeah.
wow. So that's awesome. For anyone listening who has never like attended a hackathon, or maybe they have and they're like, why am I doing this? What can you say about them and like what are some mistakes that they should avoid? Or what are like, as a hacker, do you think some go with unrealistic expectations and maybe come out disappointed?
So, one of the most common errors, I don't know if it's an error, but I'm telling you what works for me and in my experience and what we change it and now we evolve it around like different hackathons. It's about sleeping time. So when you talk about hackathons, you think you actually like, and you're right, yeah, people don't sleep much there.
Yeah.
But if you sleep enough, it's still not bad because, of course, you need to be fast in developing. Because like the more you sleep, the less time you have to code. So if you're good enough, you can like save a lot of time for sleeping. But in general, I remember in the beginning of our first hackathons, we weren't considering sleeping as a factor. Like we were just like almost full time hacking during the weekend. But it wasn't working very well.
Yeah.
So our strategy right now is the following, and I can tell you, hackathons always start on Friday and end on Sunday morning, let's say. But on Sunday morning, not only you have to submit the project, you also have to spend a couple more hours in pitching and judging time and whatever. So what we do is we go to the hackathon on Friday and we use Friday to plan the project to build, like design it, understand the key, maybe risks or stuff that we are not sure it's that easy or not, whatever. We have everything like clear in mind for the next day to start. So we usually, maybe we start coding a little bit, but at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., we go sleeping for 5 or 6 hours. So a decent amount of time. We're back at the venue at 8 or 9 a.m. and we stay there up until we finish. So sometimes we finished at 4 a.m. on Sunday morning, sometimes at 7 a.m. Sometimes we didn't even sleep because that happens according to the project. But the main thing is that we use Friday night, which we are like chill somehow, because then if you're chill enough, you can go on a full night sprint on the day after, and it's much more working, at least for us. So this is something that it's maybe uncommon because you, again, like everybody thinks that you don't need to care about sleep, but you are more productive if you sleep enough. Then what else? I think like we tried like different strategies in terms of projects, if planning in advance, how much to plan in advance, improvising at the hackathon, like we did all of this. And our approach right now is very light. So we moved from planning everything before, like maybe like even 10 days before, 2 weeks before, starting to study the project, what we want to build, the bounties that we can put in. And this wasn't really working because then you go there, you start talking to people about your idea and you get some feedback, which is cool. But most of the time when you have everything planned that much, it's not right. You spend like too much time
Really?
thinking. Yeah, you spend too much time thinking while an hackathon project has to be like quick and simple because otherwise, even like people that see your idea, watch your video demo, or maybe you're pitching to a judge, they don't get it. It has to be like really simple. And if you plan so much in advance, you're sure that anything that you're building, it's not that that much a good fit for an hackathon project. So we tried the other side.
Okay.
We on a couple hackathon projects we went to the hackathon, so at the venue without an idea, and we spent the time there to think about what to build, and that worked like better, of course. Like we had like much better results. And it's also nice because you feel like the real pressure of like shipping, like hey, I need to come up with something, I need what we can do, and so it's fun. But then like since like we improved around this, we started like, and it's always about trade-offs as anything in life. Like you don't need to plan so much, but it's also not bad if you plan something in advance. And so we started like scoping out. We now have so with this product studio that we go also to hackathons together, we have a one-pager template that we use to describe an idea that we want to build. And it's very like simple and clear to read, and it allows us to scope down anything needed. And we use that as a starting point for our hackathon project. So we usually go there, and before like getting there, we already have some of the like the core features or like the core idea that we want to build, and then during the hackathon we are also able to evolve it. So we usually start small, and then if we have time, we figure out that we have more time, we say, hey, maybe we can add this on top, and then we do. So
Yeah. I like that. You figured out the science. It sounds like hackathons are more of a science. Like you've tried and tested these various methods of what works, what doesn't work. It feels like it's like a sweet spot between having some sort of a plan, or you have your structure, and then making that structure like, I'm not going to say modular because that's too much, but having it like flexible enough to like tweak or add some fluff or sparkles in when you need to do so. But yeah, overall making it super, super simple. That's really interesting. I've never thought of hackathons as a science from like physiologically, how many hours of sleep you should get. It's like how people like marathon runners are like, yeah, like don't do too much at the beginning because you're gonna die at the end. It's like the same.
exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay. Oh, shit. Super, super good advice, and I'm gonna try and adopt that for next time. I highly recommend anyone listening to do so as well. I generally just sleep. I'm really late. Like I'm quite a lazy hackathoner. I usually do the front end, and so I'm like, yeah, like wake me up when you need you need excuses, and I'll do the pitch. But if I don't sleep, I either become like I don't even know who I am. I become like 100% a bitch, or I just like faint. So sleep is good. I want to pivot a little bit. I know we're getting close to time, but I want to ask, like, what are your favorite ways to decompress? Crypto is a crazy industry. Shit hits the fan all the time. It's overwhelming. There's a lot of drama. All of these things. How do you deal with it? It's the classic when the lemons are bad in life. What do you do?
So first thing to say is that I don't do that much. Maybe I need to do that more often. So I need to decompress
Oh,
more, and and that's why
wrong
I
question.
also yeah, no, but I'm aware of this, and that's why after. So I was in Farcon, Los Angeles. It was the beginning of May, and after that I wanted to take a break from Web3 events in general. I didn't want to. There was like ETH Berlin, ETH Prague. I wanted to. I actually skipped them because I didn't want to be in the whole event vibes, hackathons, talking to people, what you do,
Yeah.
what you not, and whatever. So, but what I do for decompress, I think like something that I love doing is going for a run because it's. I don't know if you can like define it as like decompressing, because in the end, like when you're running, you're not like that busy with your brain, so you still think about maybe work stuff, projects, ideas.
Oh,
But some
really? When I run, I'm just thinking of like how I would rather be at the bottom of hell. Like you, you must be in like a really nice flow state when you run because when I'm running, I'm like thinking about my lungs. Are they okay? Am I gonna be okay?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. It makes me, of course, like workout in general. It's something that decompress me. But when I run and then I don't have to think about anything, I tend like to think a lot indeed, and I don't do like that much the rest of the day. So when I finish my run, I'm always like super. I don't know. It's like I had time for myself. I had time to think about some stuff, even
Yeah.
random stuff, because you don't know. You're running around. You think about something. It's not that I go for a run and I say, okay, I need to think about this problem and maybe now I'll find a solution. But random thoughts, and after the run, I'm always feeling better. And I love especially doing it in the morning. It's like the perfect day, the perfect
Yeah.
time of the day.
Not too hot.
But in
Um,
general, I'm not as a person. I do a lot of things. Again, like we already mentioned all of them.
yeah.
I'm not a person that likes to just go to the beach and relax on by the sea like this. I can't stay
Yeah.
much without doing anything. I always need to get like different
Mhm.
impulse, let's say.
I mean, as long as you enjoy it, like each to their own, right? Like I'm the same. I don't really like to be still, unfortunately. Uh, I can't. Like even meditating for me, I feel like it really drives me insane. I can't do it. I have to do something with my body, like something, some movement. Um,
Yeah.
so I get you. Okay, your favorite ways to decompress? Not really. Okay, great. Uh,
Running. I mean, we can say running, definitely. Like,
Let's go. Let's go for a run. Yeah, it seems like it's also trendy right now. Like Run Club is trendy, uh,
yeah.
which is in your favor, so it's good. Something that people do, a lot of people run because they eat a lot. Where am I going with this? I wanted to ask, as an Italian, what are your raw, unhinged thoughts on pasta? Like, what's where are we at with this?
Oh my God, I'll take some pasta. As an Italian, I can say that I don't eat much pasta, or at least I don't eat pasta every day.
No.
Uh, and maybe it's a common thought, like you think that Italians, maybe like most of Italians maybe do, but if you want to stay like somehow fit and healthy, it's not the best. But of course, I love pasta. I'm not a great chef. I can like cook, of course, but I'm not like the best one. But like
Okay.
pasta is not definitely like not my favorite, especially when I go like for a dinner in a restaurant. I don't usually go for pasta there.
Right. So what do you eat?
I love sushi. I love meat in general also.
Okay. You should
But
come to
I eat
Argentina.
like, yeah, definitely. I eat a lot of different things. Of course, like I eat pasta, but it's not my main. Okay, like today pasta and tomorrow this different type of pasta. So I like vegetables a lot as well.
Okay.
Um, because with pasta, yes, most of the time you feel like overwhelmed by the carbs.
Right.
So that's why I don't
Yeah.
like eating it every day, because I prefer like staying light, let's say. And that's another thing about Web3 events, that wherever you go, it's very difficult to stay
Gosh, the
light. Yeah.
catering. Yeah. I mean, sometimes I just go for the food. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on camera, but yeah, sometimes I'll just go to events if they have food. It's the life. Um, qu
Yeah.
have you ever seen someone like cut pasta with scissors? Just asking for a friend. Would you allow this or no?
No, no. So I was talking with the if we want to talk about like rules, on pasta. Like we Italians were really strict on that. So
I
we
know.
not only with pasta but recipes and cooking in general. And so if you let's say that there was a friend here in Lisbon that I showed them how to cook carbonara. So I prepared some carbonara.
Okay.
And it was like good enough. It wasn't like the best carbonara of my life, but I know how to do it somehow. So it was like carbonara. And the day after, they tried to do it again, and they changed
No.
some ingredients in the making, and they came to me and they said, "Hey, you know that yesterday I had a failed experiment in cooking a carbonara. Wow, tell me more. Like what did you do wrong?" Yeah, because I used some leftover pasta, red flag, and then I didn't have like guanciale, which is the pork cheek, you know, and
Okay.
instead of it, I used tomatoes and mushrooms. Okay, so why do you? It's okay
Why?
that it's okay that you're cooking pasta, but please don't tell me that this is like a failed carbonara experiment. This is yet another like dish, you know. Just don't call it carbonara. Call it like I'm experimenting with pasta. That's the thing.
Cancelled. Okay.
Yeah.
Crossed off your book.
And
Good
so
to know.
like
Yeah.
when it comes to pasta and you have like recipes like carbonara, I'm talking about the ones in Rome like carbonara, cacio e pepe, amatriciana,
Ugh.
and also like the other type of pasta that you have around Italy. You need to be precise. Otherwise, just like to be safe around Italians, just don't use those names. Like I tried cooking some pasta. And that's it.
No, that would enrage me too. Like this is not carbonara. I'm always scared to cook anything Italian around Italians. I'll let you guys handle the pasta, the
Yeah,
pizza,
it's
all that stuff.
definitely easier.
I'll stick to my kimchi, you know. I think that's safe. Cool. Let's quickly wrap up. I want to know what you're really excited about. Are you still in love with frames, or are there any new social protocols on the horizon that you're eyeing or experimenting with?
Yeah, so I'm still in love with frames,
Okay.
but in general, I'm in love with all the primitives that the forecaster team is bringing like to us because it's a lot of like building blocks that is cool to use and experiment with. Cast actions and now like direct cast, programmable direct cast actually, and then the new updates with channel like really excited where this can go. So like it's always cool to have like new building blocks and also new building blocks that can plug in with each other because just like a couple days ago they released frames into direct cast. So not only you can program a direct cast from your bot or whatever, you can also embed a frame within it, and so you create a cool
Oh,
experience.
wow.
And I think so about protocols in general, social protocols. Like I'm like really into forecaster. There was an like something that I was reading a couple of days ago, like a protocol running towns XYZ. You know about towns XYZ?
I do not.
It's
Enlighten.
I think it's like another like platform and tooling for like communities, similar maybe to Discord rather than Twitter or any other like social feed platform. And they, of course, like Towns XYZ is not like Discord and that's it. They are also using a decentralized protocol somehow, and it's called River. I didn't have so much time to read and dig into it, but I think it will be cool in the future to see what communities can build with that protocol.
Sick. I'm gonna look into it after
And
we hop off.
and maybe another one that I can mention is XMTP. I think still related to frames. You know that frames are compatible with XMTP thanks to open frames and XMTP. If you don't know, it's like a chat, decentralized and encrypted chat protocol.
Yeah.
Let's say, and with frames, I think it's cool because you can create new embedded experience into chat apps or group chats. I mean, they are not yet there, but really excited to see what you can cook with it. Because imagine having Telegram, but with some interactive experiences, fun experiences for groups, or I don't know, everything that comes you can build with frames inside a chat and not inside a social feed shared with everyone.
Yeah, my head's like spinning thinking of like how to combine different like primitives and experiences. It's super exciting. I'm also like really keen to see just honestly the Warpcast DMs right now are killing me. They're not the best. I'm
Yeah,
having a
yeah.
hard time with it. So I'm excited to see how that evolves, what builders create that can heal my wounds from Warpcast DMs and stuff. Are you building for On-Chain Summer?
Of course. Like with the
Let's
again, like
go.
with this product studio, we created 4 teams. So we have 4 teams on 4 different projects, and I'm actually building. We are building like with my team. We are building a project called the On-Chain Builders Index,
Oh,
and it's a platform to help in discover like new builders and new projects out there, and hopefully giving away to these builders and projects to get some support and funding maybe. And we're planning to use the forecaster social graph, and some other on-chain data, as well as the, if you're familiar with the build token, the build game
yeah.
around nominations. That's also, they just opened their API, so it's cool to plug this nomination social graph in the mix, and have like different reputation layers building on top of each other.
Yeah, that's so like delicious just thinking about the different layers, and I love the idea of social graphs. I think there are so many um different industries and niches that you can plug them into. Super bullish.
Yeah.
Cool. Limone, do you have any like final words of wisdom to leave with any listeners before we hop off?
I don't know. Should I prepare for this?
No.
No, but
Whatever speaks to your soul.
final words. I mean, if you come in Rome, if you want to come in Rome, visiting us and hanging out with the Urbe community, we'll be like more than happy uh, to host you and like have some time together, building together and connecting. I'd love more and more international people joining our community and our city from time to time. So yeah, maybe that's my closing thoughts.
Love that. When in Rome, hang out with the
Man,
Italian hacker mafia
yeah,
with the lemon gang, and don't cook carbonara.
around us, we bring you to the like correct and best restaurants.
Yeah, I'm gonna yeah, I'll hit you up there for sure.
Amazing.
Sick. Grazie, Limone. This was really really fun, and I'm really happy I
Yeah,
got to record with you.